brother and sister, I'm telling you, the results that we want are in your hands and are in your mind. A critical thinking member of the board, a critical thinking principal with a critical thinking staff will end up with children who are critical thinkers. I am again saying that you need to identify the right personnel to give you the results that you want. The right personnel. The right personnel. If you want to succeed as a chair of the board, work with committees. Committee X, Y, Z. Alafu, when you meet as a full board, wanapeana reports with evidence. I call it evidence-based management. Evidence-based management. How is our environment? The quality of teaching, the chair of the academic, the chair of infrastructure, and that is called SIC, the chair of the infrastructure. Atuambie infrastructure za shule. We would not have had that problem kule shule gani hiyo. Or the chair of the committee of infrastructure had been checking at the leg. So if the principal was sharp enough, we wouldn't have had that problem. Kwa hivyo wapendwa, tunasema kwamba the results are in your hands. You have just to activate those results. And a member of the board and somebody in the teaching fraternity, I know wengine wetu, we got to where we are because you talked to the sub-county director, wengine ukaongea na chief, sub-chief, na ukawa nominated na ukasonga pale ukapata hiyo nafasi. And now you don't know what you're doing on that board. Would you? You don't know. There are two enemies of results that I want to talk about. Two enemies of results in your school and in your church, and therefore in our government. And these enemies are even enemies when Mungu hapendi. The enemy of the system. One is a teacher, a principal, a member of the board, a chair of the board, or a chaplain who was born lazy. Born lazy. You know, you are just a lazy chairman, a lazy principal, a lazy chaplain, a lazy whatever. Who anaambia watu kwamba even the Holy Spirit is competitive. The Holy Spirit is competitive. You know, haiendi tu. That's why I don't like this song. Hii wimbo huo mnauimba mnaipenda, lakini mimi sipendi. Usinipite mkosi. Aya, tuimbeko tu kidogo. Oh, sini lenye unaweza kuuliza mtoto wa nursery. Mungu akikupita ulikuwa unafanya nini? Sina maanisha alikuacha. Na alipokuacha anaenda kwa jirani na kadhalika, unaanza kumfuata unasema, oh, sini. You know, you are a desperate person. You are a desperate fellow. Use the Lord when the time is right. Am I saying something? Hudumie Mungu when the time is right. Wakati huo, the time is now. Paul tells me, ujana ni kama moshi, ndio? Unapita. If you are still strong, youthful enough, be useful now. Ya kesho tujui. I tell principals that when you go to a school, you need a landmark. Do something urgent. Yenye watasema kwamba there is a new principal. Either paint a building, ama angusha mti mkubwa hapa, angusha mti. ama jenga gate na kadhalika. We are interested in landmarks. You start your results right away, wajue umefika, si ndio? Otherwise, you sneak in as a chair of the board, you sneak out. You sneak in as a principal, then again you sneak out. You sneak in as a chaplain, then you sneak out. Sasa ulikuwa unafanya nini? We are talking about results. Sasa ikiwa ulizaliwa lazy, hata Mungu hakupendi. God does not like lazy people. By the way, God is a businessman. He works with people who have the ability to raise results. Am I saying something? To raise results. Huyu Mungu msicheze. God is interested in people who raise results. 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 And I've never forgotten. 1987, nilikuwa nafundisha St. Peter's Mumias. And then my wife was expecting our third born. Sasa nikampeleka St. Mary's Hospital hapo, na tukapata mama mwingine pale already karibu anataka kuzaa, akitembea kwa magoti na mikono analia chini, asema tawe, mimi sitaki tena, mimi sitaki tena, sitaki tena. Na mimi niko na mke wangu anaangalia, na yeye ananiangalia, na mimi namwangalia, naanza kuuliza yeye pia ataanza kusema sitaki tena. Na sasa nilikuwa nashangaa huyu mama anasema sitaki tena kitu gani? So in a short while mama akaingia kwa hiyo room ya maneno, kaingia upande ule, nikasikia nurse anachapa yeye kofi pam pam, anasema sukuma sukuma, hata wewe utaua mtoto wenyewe, sukuma. Nikaanza kuuliza kama huyu mtoto si wa huyu mama, ni mtoto wa nani? Utaua mtoto wenyewe. Then as an academics nikaanza kufikiria in terms of what we call the push factor. Push factor in life. Praise the Lord. The push factor. In life, you want to get it right, you must push. If you don't push, utaua watoto wenyewe, si ndio? Push, but push strategically. And thereafter, mama huyo alipozaa mtoto alilia, na mama ndio huyo anatuma message kwa wenzake kwamba I have delivered a bouncing baby boy or a bouncing baby girl. Uchungu amesahau. I've delivered a bouncing baby boy or a bouncing baby girl. My brother, my sister, if you want bouncing results, mpaka kuna uchungu. Kuna uchungu. Hiyo ofisi itakuja kuuliza mambo fulani. This and this and this, is this right? Hao wanauliza from the point of view of the church. Wengine wamekuja, ule Kituru amekuwa hapa, anauliza is this right? Mwingine quality Yuda anakuja kuuliza is this right? Utaanza kusema ai tawe. Yet when you deliver the results, you can write something home. We have delivered what kind of results? Bouncing results. Praise the Lord. Bouncing results. But God will not work with you when you are a lazy manager. God hates lazy people. The other enemy of the system that God hates is somebody who was born with a negative attitude. Negative attitude. We want to get results. We talked about sharpshooters. Sharpshooters. And then you just find somebody who does not feel like, doing it. Even if the program is right. Reverend Dr. Magomere, you come up with a policy, you come up with this for schools na kadhalika, all Church of God schools, we want this and this. Kuna mwingine anasema, hii vitu tutaenda nayo mbinguni. Hii vitu mwingine atokee huko na zingine. Na hii vitu inatusumbua. Hii vitu imekusumbua mpaka unaonekana wewe mwenyewe msumbufu. We have some people in life, Baba Askofu, ukimwangalia kutembea kwake ni kwa hasara. Akitembea tu hasara. And a lot of these schools I have participated even in having in X, Y, and Z. We can do very well. Baba Askofu, Western region, na Nyanza, ndio imekuwa kishape education in this country for many years. We have shaped education. But what is happening now? Why are we selling our birthright? Kwa nini tunasahau? Na imenifikisha mahali ambapo ninasema Baba Askofu, we are living in a society that I would call the Nebuchadnezzar society. Nebuchadnezzar society. Nebukadneza alifanywaje? Alikula nyasi miaka mingapi? Miaka 7. Sasa kwa nini sisi tunakula nyasi? Tuna dhambi ya uongozi, dhambi ya uelekezaji, dhambi ya kukosa nguvu za kusukuma. Tutakula nyasi miaka mingapi ndio tuamuke? We are saying we can do better than Nebuchadnezzar. Si kweli? And then we have, you remember Nehemiah. Nehemiah alikuwa kwa kitanda ameangalia kando kwa karibu akufe. Akamulilia Mungu. Mungu akamuongeza miaka mingapi? 15 years. You know that. We are capable, Baba Askofu, we are capable of crying to God. Na tujililie departmentally. Sorry. Tujililie departmentally for a change. As I go towards my finish, nataka kusema my way forward is this. Way forward. For us to go towards the results that we want. The way forward. First of all, to be proud of your institution. Just find a way of how you can be proud of your institution. Jipende, wakupende, jipende, upendeze. Just be proud of your institution. When I address principals, huwa naambia kwamba we are principals wengine ambao wanaogopa wengine. Muhila, where are you? Your principal Muhila. There were days I used to have engagement with Muhila many years. I think many years before you. But we can, who is this? What was his name? He was one time, King Lady Boys, those things. Drama, okay? Dobby. Yeah, Dobby Okalo Nakadalika. We used to engage. We are saying you can bring your school from that level, average level where it is, to above average. So tunaweza. And you can transform your results from now when you understand that the results, you need a push factor. Otherwise, utaua mtoto wa wenyewe, si ndio? Go home, let's go back to our schools and just have a day to discuss the push factor in our schools. We want to be proud of our schools. Just be proud of that small school. So unapata principal mmoja anaogopa wengine at Muhila school. Kiangalia principals unaona anaonekana na hiyo level ya shule. Hapana. Government knows that there is one principal in your school and wewe. And your school is one of the schools. So kwa hivyo hakuna kuogopa mwingine, wewe mwenyewe jiinue. Do something to raise your school, to bring it up, not by stealing and therefore killing a generation. Watoto hao watapita mitihani bila wizi, ushawaua na utajibu. The next point, your way forward is you have to be the voice of reason for quality standards. Be the voice of reason for quality standards. The voice of reason. Be reasonable about what you are doing. So that anytime we come back to you, we can see a man or a woman of values, and the values speak for themselves in that school. Ukiangalia tu hiyo shule, management yake, ukiingia kwa compound unaona kwamba there is a difference. There is something new happening in this school. In your school, something new happening in this school. And we want to increase the newness of your school. Something new. Tuwe na roof fulani kwa hiyo shule. Na roof hii na hii na hii itatupatia the results we want. Mwalimu anapofundisha awe na harufu ya hiyo shule. Chaplain unapoenda kuzungumzia kwa preach, harufu ya hiyo shule. The board mkiongea nao watu, harufu ya hiyo shule. Then we can call it the school. Not a school, just the school. The voice of reason. The voice of reason for that school. That's why you are in management. The other point way forward is provide overall strategic guidance. We provide overall strategic guidance. Overall strategic guidance. Now here we are into CBE. DOS na committee yako, you should be able to understand what is this CBE. Curriculum, competence-based education. Competence. We used to have it those days. Siku zetu lakini ilikuwa haina hii jina. Tulikuwa naambia kuja shuleni na jembe, kuja shuleni na kuni, kuja na samadi, kwenda kuganda pale chini, kuja na miti ya kujenga, scouts na nini. Tulijifunza a lot of school things at school. I was taught how to cook. And I told my wife, I even tell her now, hata ukienda kwenu, utarudi kama mimi ninang'ara. Because I know how to cook. We were taught those things. Sasa ikirudi, watu wanaanza kusema, hii kitu gani? Watu wanapiga kelele. No, we used to have it. The trouble is today is that you find a girl who is coming from university with a first class what and whatever engineering na kadhalika. Kumwambia kutengeneza tu chai ile amduye the short tea. Hawezi. Wananunuanga kuku kutoka kwa supermarket, kuku. Ukimwambia tengeneza kuku, kutoa manyoya hata ajui. Anaweza pika kuku miguu yote na kichwa yote na kadhalika anapika tu. Those days we knew very well that msichana asipofanya vizuri anarudi nyumbani aenda fundishwe, ndio. Mimi napenda brown ugali. Ile ya wimbi na iko na nini na miogo ndani. Kumix vizuri bila imbundo, ile kitu kingine isiwe ndani, unga usiwe ndani. Ikiwa ndani rudi kwenu kwa mama yako. Lakini wamama siku hizi hawajui competence based. Competence ya kutengeneza tu hata samaki ama nini. Mtoto akirudi akiangalia na mama anaangalia mtoto wanafanana. Baba naye is not available. Absentee father. So we are in trouble. So give strategic guidance. We are talking about at policy level. You need strategic guidance for the results that you want. Strategic. DOS mjipange how to teach well, how to do the exercises, how to mark, how to handle results, how to do what. Na mwanze kuona utakuwaje. Huyu mtoto huyu atakuwaje. But these days it's just like watu wamejaa Egypt. Unaambia let my people go. Some schools the way they are running their candidate class, let my people go. Wanaenda kama kondoo tu. What happens in the future you don't care. Mutajibu one day. So as I finish, I am saying, my brother, my sister, you need to align your policies to those of the sponsor and the national establishments. Your policies. And for me, any school, any program without spiritual alignment, something is not right. Something is not right. My students that I taught, who are many around, they will tell you when Professor Bigambo comes to class, he's doing many things at a go. I start my classes with a prayer. I end my classes with a prayer. But hapo katikati nimetwanga kabisa. I am teaching, I am mentoring, I'm instructing, I'm counseling, I'm doing what. And some people come to my classes who are not even my students, but they just come to listen to my lectures. Because I do all those things together. Because at best, ladies and gentlemen, lea mtu. Just lea mtu. Kwa mashule yetu, tulee tu watu. The board, even at your policy level, lea shule. Lea ni hao walimu. Walimu mlea watoto. If we can have robust children, watu wenye wako na mili sawasawa, wako sawasawa, then we tell them, give us results. Na unalea your lessons. Unalea your lessons. You enjoy teaching. Some of us, I know some of you, When I was a teacher in schools, wengine principals were very good at stealing teachers. Wanaiba hata leo. Niliibwa mara ngapi? In one school ilikuwa kwa shule moja 2 years only niliibwa. Nimepelekwa kwa a big school. Tena hapa kutana naibwa mpaka nikaibwa na president kwenda Baringo Cabernet. It means it's a matter of effort. What you put in and you enjoy it. And I enjoyed teaching my English and literature. Naongea kama nani tena? Eh? No one taught like this man. Mnakumbuka hicho kitabu? No one taught like this man. Fundisha ijulikane kwamba you are teaching only today, ya kesho hatujui, si ndio? DOS with your teachers. I am finishing therefore by saying you need to have a collective responsibility. Collective responsibility. Don't be proud of those results wewe peke yako, hapana, ni zetu. That collective responsibility inatoka kwa class, inaenda kwa department, inaenda kwa deputies, inaenda kwa principal, inakuja ndio hiyo, inaenda kwa Department of Education in the church, inatoka hapo inaenda kwa Archbishop. Then he talks about my schools. My schools. When Jesus told Peter, feed my flock, aliona kwamba there is a potential. My brother, my sister, you have the potential to give us the results we want, only that you have been lazy, or only that you have not been strategic, or only that you have not this and that. You have not what. But from today, we can get a new baptism. Kwamba tuokoke upya, tuende tutuage kazi, na tuende to focus on the results that we want. And finally, I am saying you need to celebrate your success. Celebrate something. You know, given mental issues in this country or on this earth, many people are unhappy. Many people are so unhappy. Very unhappy. Baba Skofu, you are aware of your colleague, Askofu, who committed suicide in Tanzania. You may be a chaplain, but you are unhappy. You may be overseer, but you are unhappy. And we have men even in their houses. These days, men, the ability of men imekwisha. Nguvu za wanaume kwa nyumba. Mnavaa tu kola za suits namna hii. Mami kabisa mna nguvu. Wanawake wanashangaa sasa, our men have died. You know something has gone wrong. The women also. Muko tu hapa namna hii. Muko tu hapa namna hii. Something has gone wrong. What can we celebrate? We do not look up to somebody. We do not enjoy the company of another person. We do not enjoy the company of our children. The children don't even enjoy our company. They are on their own. Schools are on their own because the principal does not care about the teachers. Teachers don't care about the deputies or DOS. They don't even care about the principal. Kila mtu sasa in Kenya hii, watu wanasema must go. One term, must go. One term, must go. So we have become one term in our own houses. The relationships at the universities, Baba School. Their grandchildren when you go university, their relationships ni one term. Ni one term and must go. One term. Na wengine, we have some weak boys and weak girls. Kakiambiwa kwamba wewe ni one term, kana commit suicide. Rutoto unakufa tu. Ati kwa maana, you know, I love you so much, you love. There's a book yenye ilisema kwamba the beautiful ones are not yet. Si ndio? Naambianga wasichana, the man you are seeing today, this guy is just a fool. Wewe nakudanganya tu. And the girl you are seeing now, this is just a fool. Mwache aende, after all the good riddance, mwache aende. Mungu atakuletea somebody in your space. So let us have something to celebrate. In your school, as a board, plan to celebrate something. Hata kama your mean score ilikuwa 2 point something, na shule ile ingine like Bunyore girls that had what 10 something or 9 point something, 9.7, na wewe yako ilipata 2.0. Celebrate your 2.0. Am I saying something? Wale watu ambao wako na ng'ombe, kuna mtu wako na ng'ombe kubwa anapeleka deep. anapeleka deep. Na huko na kang'ombe kako kamoja kanakaa namna hiyo. Wewe pia unapeleka deep. Kakienda deep pia kaanguka ndani, unakatoa. Ule mwenye kubwa kubwa pia zake na kuka huko zinatoa. Wakiwauliza watu mnatoka hapa, tunapeleka ng'ombe wetu kwa deep. Tumetoka deep. Yes. Sasa wewe na aka ng'ombe kako pia kapeleke deep. Bwana asifiwe. Can we stand up? I want us to make a declaration. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to make a declaration. Now you will say I, then you mention the name of your school. Okay, let's go. I, weka neno jina ya shule yako, weka jina ya shule yako. Nataka kusikia ukiweka jina ya shule yako. I, being the board of my school, from today we want to experience a transformation. We want to get evidence-based management. And we have to celebrate something. And so be with us, God. May God bless you. Wow. Leadership, strategic. Tulisoma rivers in America, isn't it? Tukasoma lumbering in where? Na tukaambiwa Vasco da Gama alifanya nini? Alikuja. But sahi natusumbua ni Strait of Hormuz, mahali mafuta inafanya namna gani? Inapitia. Lakini hiyo hatukuso. How do we organize our education? Which kind of education do we want? And which kind of which tuliambiwa tunaanza na what is the result do we want? What kind of because we say the decisions in 10 years. Wakati tunasoma maneno ya shule kuchomwa, the prophet spoke 10 years ago. Yesterday, the former senator of Kakamega was on TV, one of our national television, and he authored a play that was staged by students of Butere High School about children burning schools. 8 years ago is when it was staged, meaning that it was written 10 years ago. God spoke to us about what is going to be happening. Are we strategic? Are we strategic? Which kind of education do we want? And on that note, I want to humbly bring in Benedict Hayati, the principal of Muila, to bring us to the very important session, that is a plenary session that we are going to be deliberating on which way do we want to take our education. And stakeholders, we are here. We have a way forward, but we are going to come up with a way forward. How do we need to organize? How do we need to put together our education so that we can make that lasting impact? Let's clap our hands as we bring in Bwana Principal, who is going to bring to us those that are going to lead us through that session.
Thank you, Dr. Can we appreciate Dr. for a good job? I'm not a facilitator. I'm only but a deputy to Dr. And I want to join him in appreciating what Professor has done for us. We are going to the plenary session, and to lead us here, we have Mr. Conrad Wanyama. I hope he's in the house. Madam, my senior, Madam Mrs. Petronila Ahendoka will be our facilitator at this particular point. Kindly let us clap for them as they step forward. Karibu sana Bwana Conrad. Karibu Madam Principal.
Thank you so much. Askofu Mkuu, asante kwa kujua. Wacha nimsalimu ndio nipate baraka. Simnipigie makofi tafadhali. I'm privileged to be here. I'm Wanyama Conrad, Head of Institution, Makutano Comprehensive School from Likuyani, the far end. I've been given this chance. You have listened to the professor, Celia, and you have listened to so many speakers, starting from our Archbishop. We want now to have some issues. The issues you have, raise them. As the secretaries are recording, then we shall react. Sawa sawa. And I'll wish that we have another microphone so that somebody will be moving as we receive the responses. Tafadhali, you just raise up your hands, the microphone will reach you, then you raise your issues. And answer. Hope you are ready. Utanisaidia. From this side, nahitaji mkono. First row. Ndio ile. Sante. Try to be audible so that it's recorded.
Yes. With riding on the already established protocol, my name is Kennedy Lukale, from board member from one secondary school for people and servants of God. My point is this. If we can remember very well when quite a number of you people who are older than I am went to school, the kind of life and even the atmosphere that you were brought up in, that is in school, is quite different from today. I'm coming down to say the element of caning, not corporal or killing, but caning. When it was publicly announced that there will be no caning in school, if I remember very well, that is where a lot of problems started now befalling our schools. So this is what I want to say, that whoever thought it wise or unwise that there should be no caning in our schools, reliable stakeholders, and talk to them when the pupils of students were hearing. So if the way we parents behave of students were hearing. So if the way we parents behave in this in these days, and even our teachers, the way they carry themselves before pupils and students matter great.
Teresa, ninde msangi wa Church of God. Kuna msemo ambao unasema ya kwamba mtoto akibebwa mgongoni kila wakati hutazama kisoko cha mamaye. Kwa hivyo walimu, mnaporudi katika shule zenu, mfunze watoto tabia nzuri. Funzeni watoto tabia mzuri, kwa sababu most of the time wako pamoja na na wakati watakaporudi kule tena kanisani watatupata tuko huko, tutawatunza vizuri. Hasa jambo langu ni hili, uhusiano kati ya kanisa na mashule katika Church of God, mimi naona kidogo hapana. Tuambiane ukweli. Kwa nini niseme hivi? Nikisimama pale barabarani wakati mwingine nikiona kwa mfano shule ya Friends basi linapita, ama shule ya SK ama Catholic imeandikwa Friends School Shanderema, na shule basi la Church of God, shule ya Church of God ikipita tunashangaa hii ni ya wapi? Kwa hivyo pengine sio msingi wa kanisa ya Church of God, lakini nitaomba sana viongozi vile tutatoka hapa, muende muangalie hicho kitu. Iwapo tutaanza na ile shule iitwe ya kwamba Sheywe Church of God Sheywe School, tukienda pale Matenda iitwe, ikinunua hiyo basi waite ya kwamba Church of God Matende High School. Tunataka ule uhusiano mzuri kati ya shule na kanisa tuanze kuhudumisha na waende mbele. Hiyo kitu mimi naona Makonda sana kwa mawazo. Mbarikiwe sana na hilo. Naitwa John Gereza.
Asante John Gereza.
Amen.
Yamenakiliwa on this row, sir. Second row from behind. If there is not there, move. Any other person here? Haya, chukua, tuko kwa tatu.
All protocols observed, Stephen Abakobe. I wish to make this observation to our chaplains. They should allow the curriculum in school so that when they are teaching Bible, they are relating what is in the curriculum design for CRE. Thank you.
Thank you. Another person in this row. The second and the third. Second and the third.
Bernard Sholo is my name, the chair of Shangal High School. Now, I tend to think our education system has been taken over by our politicians. You'll hear them mention mtoto asifukuzwe kwenda kuleta school fees, which they are not able to pay fully. Looking at the education policies, it's also not right to send them home for fees. If I send them home, it's wrong. Politicians will come for me why I'm doing that, because they get mileage out of it. I think we have come here from different persons. What happens in Kishangal High School will not be happening in another school within Kakamega County. We have come here to share our experiences so that we are not going back as we came in. Fees collection is a serious challenge, and therefore these principles and this board keeping students in school with their job is very challenging. What can be done? Thank you.
Thank you for that. Those sentiments. Machoine.
My name is Victor Kimongo. My concern is about the 100% progression in our service system. I feel that those have been introduced to very young minds, and especially considering that the majority of the children are ill-equipped, either from poor families, they have no computers, they have no electricity, they have assignments that they have to do at home without these facilities, and yet they cannot be given the opportunity to have a good foundation in order to be able to compete and advance. Because one must progress, one must move to the next class. I think the assessment previously used to make children want to compete, want to work harder. So I feel maybe this could have been introduced at a stage where a student has gotten the foundation, knows why he's in school, and wants to work hard in order to have good results. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next row. If there's any, West. There are two. 1, 2, 3. A lady on the
My
TV.
name I am Miss Priska Indeko from IMAS Lugari. What I can just say is that this competency curriculum, it came and most of us were confused, even teachers, because you could hear the learner say that a teacher can just assess you and say, meeting expectation. He can just look at your face and put there 4, put there 3, put there 1. So, when we want to implement this education, we should know that there is a change and it is going nowhere. It is there and it will be there. So, even parents, you can hear a parent, a child has come, assist me, and the parent will just say, we did not learn such education. But this education, it is just a change. It is not so different from 844. So when we go home, teachers, we should cooperate, teachers, parents, board, and others, so that we do community mobilization. Parents are not so much aware on what is going about CBC. So we should cooperate to implement the CPE to go on well. I am Ms. Priska Indeko from IMAS.
Thank you, madam. The next gentleman. I'm only giving 3, unless there's a burning issue behind.
I'm Silas Ambani from Emwanero Comprehensive School. Now, first of all, I want to strongly agree with what Mr. Umuhaya of Emwanero Senior School said. I'm a teacher, primary school, and it is true that the content that has been given to these learners, right from ECD up to grade 9, is above their age level. I'm a science teacher, and I was surprised when I came across a content I learned in biology at Form 6 in grade 5. So you can imagine what those learners are going through. So what am I saying? The learners are being stressed, and I have had to cancel very many learners starting from grade 1 up to grade 9. They are stressed. Therefore, they cannot learn well, and this is causing a lot of problems in our schools. So let something be done. Then I think those who came up with the curriculum did not consult well. Therefore, they brought content that is not age-based. So when learners are stressed, they can do anything. Maybe that's why we have a lot of discipline in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Thank you. All protocol observed. I'm Bernard Sabwangaira, the Deputy Head of the Institution, Wana East in Lugari. I want to say that learning is a continuous process, that all of us know that. So when we hear of maybe homework, even if you have gone beyond university, you can fail to understand homework. So learning is a continuous process. We have come here to learn. I have learned a lot from the professor. And I want to say that the government in the first place has contradicted everything because we hear of CBC, in a short while CBE. The rating that was there initially has changed to so many other ratings. That is EE1, EE2, and so on and so forth. So it is a confusion to even parents, not only teachers. It's a total confusion. So there is need for sensitization among all stakeholders. Then there is also the issue of national goals of education. All of us who went to college, we learned a lot about the national goals of education. In that sense of national goals of education, there is a sense of spiritual nourishment. In that connection, I want to concur with the Baba's course that the chaplains should have a session to come and teach, guide, counsel the students, the learners. Personally, in my school, I want to initiate that with immediate effect. There is also the issue of renaming of schools. I have heard of it. Alisha Asani. So if the schools are going to be renamed after Church of God, it is welcome. Otherwise, I want to say thank you. We have learned a lot. I'm not going home the way I came in. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mwalimu. Kwa hiyo tumemaliza, si ndio? Tuende kwa Isa. Kuna moja sasa. Anza na huyu.
Thank you very much, Baba Askofu Mkuu na timu yako. My name is Reverend Javan Kainga, chaplain, Muhila Boys Senior School. My boss is standing here. I want to say this because I am the chairman, Kisa East Cluster Chaplain. That is why I want to say what I want to say. That I wanted Baba Askofu Mkuu to plead with the principals and head teachers to understand that these chaplains need to wash their clothes. They need also to have porta back home. It is my request, sir, that I am aware of some schools which never consider the chaplains. So from this forum, it is my request that from our Father, if the head teachers and principals and chairmen of schools can hear, then they can do the necessary. Thank you very much.
That one is a hot one to the principal. And Amanda.
I hope he's not reporting me.
Kulikuwa na mwingine wa mwisho pale.
My name is Sandala Omangu, the head of the institution, Mutendi School in municipality. I have one or two issues to raise. One, I want to thank the CBC education, which was rolled out, although with a number of challenges. Why I praise it is that because it has reduced the pressure we used to have to struggle to attain many scores, of which we have been told sometimes they get higher many scores, learners getting very high marks, and when they go to some of our senior secondary schools, they are unable to perform. So learning at primary and junior school has reduced, stress has reduced, and therefore teachers who have already embraced and are undertaking what is expected of it are now doing it well. The only challenge we have there is the funding. This is an area where which the leadership of the church has spoken by one speaker to find ways of addressing it with the government. Because as I'm talking now, the kinds of funding they're giving cannot support the full implementation of CBE in this country. We are even unable to enable our learners to participate in many of the co-curricular activities because the schools are not in a position to manage participating in them. Number two, I also want to thank the church leadership for the organization of this meeting today. It is one of its kind that I have seen and participated in, which has really brought a lot of good, because we have now made as an umbrella to discuss issues affecting us and maybe chart our way forward on how to manage our school. So thank you so much, Baba Askofu, for the organization. But how I wish that you now chart an umbrella association for the heads of schools, because schools have so many challenges today. Following the breakdown in society, the drug abuse, the many indiscipline cases, there should be a way whereby the heads of schools can meet to share these challenges and find solutions going forward.
Because I think as it is now, we don't have one. But I wish to request that if one could be created, where we'll be meeting maybe annually to share our experiences and see how we can address them, it would add value on what we are doing today. Others, thank you so much for the organization.
Thank you being the last speaker. Unless there's a burning issue on my ticket, but we'll be brief. Then there is one suspecting is an overseer or reverend.
All people club. I'm Harun Bulali from Bukere, Emoko Cooperative School. There's a challenge which I was expecting that to be addressed today. This concerns the land issue in our schools. Most of us don't have taken this, and they need to actually don't want to register in our schools. So it is a bit cumbersome to the board of management in this school to have such kind of a thing. Secondly, prior to this, we had that thing of the problem, which was coming in Kenya. I didn't have that compassion. The issue that was sort of troublesome of our learners who have developed their thing. It was my prayer that they have should be able to develop that thing and then to separate school so that we have to get the topic into the system. Thirdly, with CBE, let us go back, sit down, do what we want to do, and make a after discussion. And then be able to know how we want to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. There's one, the last one. Yeah. Commissioner Mungu, please invite.
Thank you, all protocol club, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Sorry for dragging you back, the moderator. I'm Jeremiah Philip from Altona. I wanted to request the education board of the Church of God if you sit together and set exams for our Church of God school so that we should match other schools that do the same. And once we have that exam from our church, from our headquarters, then we shall have a reason to come together, reason together, know our weaknesses and our strong points. Thank you.
I think the last point is also very important. Thank you. As I'm ending the session, I'll only react to one in my capacity. Concerns the principals and head teachers motivating there. In my station in Makutano, Reverend Mahan is there. He visits me every Friday, and we normally do it. And I even have created values in the learners that giving Sadaka is part of life. It also promotes values. So every Friday, even today, as I'm here, my teacher, spiritual leader, Madam Eunice Kanaga, she has done it today, and any Sadaka from teachers and the pupils is kept for the Reverend next Friday to be handed over together with the second Friday. And I started this program immediately. I ended at Makutano in 2023, February. So please, just be tactful, principals, head teachers, motivate them. I'm talking from the table of Catholic. When the priest arrives in any function and the catechist, I have to honor them with something, and transport is compulsory and other things. Let me now talk as a yeah. Why? Mtumishi anatembea hata maji hana. Sindio? And not only that, even yesterday, Bishop, Reverend from Anglican Church, sang, visited me yesterday, and I had to buy my soda, give him something, so that I get the blessing. If you don't donate Sadaka, where do you get the blessing? Two, when you are working with a child, no time, you'll have chaos in your school. Mimi nimefunza miaka kadhaa, bado na miaka chache ya Bishop. Bishop, I'm retiring from your station. Na hiyo siku ya retire utajua. Na nitaweka moja and hand over. Sawa sawa. Otherwise, I'm also a politician, but I don't want to go into that. Eh. Mwalimu Edwin Yongesa, my teacher, DOSY. What I'm saying is true. So, ako pale, na ndio ICT, and also in the station. If you want to run the station well, delegate duties. They have a teacher is in charge of junior, college, deputy junior. It is coming. But it's already deputy. Primary, have a deputy. Senior coordinates everything. And therefore, a very simple work to do in the station. If we delegate duties and have the department, the stations can never have any challenges. Members. Usiwe hapa na huko mimi siwezi piga simu sai. Deputy hata akinipigia simu siwezi receive. She's in charge and she has to solve unless it is emergent requiring the head of the institution. That's my policy. Asanteni. Caroline, welcome.
When I came to Sally Secondary School, that was in 2023, I was welcomed by the Church of God members. The chairman of the board was there, plus others. Walinikaribisha vizuri, nukulakira bushumanengo, and we bonded well. And so when I'm in that school, I dance and sing like a Church of God member. But I'm a Catholic personally. When nikifika kwa gate, nawacha Catholic hapo naingia na Church of God. Because that is the sponsoring church, isn't it? So I want to encourage all of us who are in the Church of God sponsored schools. Please let us support the schools fully because that is where TSC has put us to work. We are not going there to convert anybody out of the church. We are there to teach the curriculum. And so I will respond to a few questions, just one or two, because I will invite other colleagues to come and do the same before we move on. We have heard of the curriculum, the syllabus being the content being very complicated. You know, as we speak right now, already the curriculum design of the CBC has been implemented, isn't it? Learners are already in class learning. So even if we are to give proposals, those proposals shall be given to the relevant offices or departments to work on them. But meanwhile, can we continue, unpacking these curriculum designs? What is happening currently is that the teachers have been taken for tooling to understand how to unpack the curriculum design. The principals have been taken for retooling. And even at some point, the board of management also, in some areas, they have also been retooled to some extent. We have what we call the curriculum support officers in the TSC department. They are in all our sub-counties. Their work is to come down to our school level and do what we call lesson observation. They see a teacher teaching in that CBC class. Once they have seen the teacher teaching, they will now talk to the teacher about what needs to be changed, how that teacher needs to teach, how he needs to unpack the curriculum design in all the subjects. We had that team in Musali Secondary School yesterday. So if there is a problem at school level in terms of unpacking the curriculum design, as the principal, as the BOM chair, you are free to walk to the sub-county director's office and ask, can I have my teachers observe in class? Because already you have that program with the TSC. So it is ongoing. So as we take the proposal to the next department for action, can we make sure that our teachers are going to class, they are teaching? If there is any problem, the curriculum support officers are there to help us. CBC and CBE, it is simply competence-based curriculum for CBC and competence-based education. It doesn't change the curriculum, it doesn't change anything, just the words. Just like we have the Ministry of Education, they said, why should we have curriculum-based, competency? We should have competency-based education to replace the Ministry of Education, maybe. But it doesn't change anything much. So you have given proposals and suggestions. We have qualified people here who can be able to answer some of them. I want to welcome them. If we have any that can be able to answer any question that has been raised by the members on the floor. Do we have any from the departments? Yes. Let's start with the impact.
Thank you. I had one member talk about caning, and I want to say that corporal punishment has been banned. And you know, all education institutions operate within a legal framework. So there is no way we are going to have selected schools, maybe schools sponsored by the Church of God, having the cane work in their schools. It is not possible because we are operating within the same legal framework. Until this is changed, maybe at the parliament, and we have it taken over by the lawmakers. So we cannot, as teachers, as boards of management, go back and say, hii yetu sisi tunataka kiboko ikuwe hapo, because no principal, no head teacher wants to be interdicted for abating caning in his or her institution. Number two, it is at home, and I repeat, it is at home where a child is taught to say thank you after some kind of favor has been granted to him or her. It is at home where a child is taught to clean the places where he or she stays. At school, we are not actually teaching manners. At school, we teach the subjects. And therefore, if you are a parent and you are talking about teachers supposed to teach students good manners, then the question is, what is your role as a parent? Because we have to walk this journey together, isn't it? Yes. So, and you have heard when schools close, and especially in third term, many parents are saying, "Sitafunguka lini warudi huko." The question is, you don't want to have your child at home, you want that child to go and stay with somebody else. Meaning, wewe umeshindwa parenting. So the issue is, let us not take all the responsibilities and bestow them to the teachers. Hapana, there is a parental obligation. And that is why Professor Bikambo says we are walking the journey and we must all walk together. The parent, the teacher, and the child. And of course, for the success of that child, we need the parent to come along with us.
Thank you, Mwalimu. As I think Professor is preparing to come, but before he comes, let me make a comment on the giving. Our chaplains are women and men of God. They are working for God in our schools. So as principals, let us talk to our students about giving. After the service, that was yesterday, I talked to my students, the chaplain was there, and I asked them, when you give sadaka wakati service inakwisha, unapeana nani hiyo sadaka? Wakasema tunampatia Mungu. And so how much do you give to God? Wakasema tunatakana tumpatie mingi tu yenye tuko naye. So let the student understand that as they are giving, they are not giving the principal, they are not giving anybody else. Wanapatia nani? Mungu. If there is anything that I understood during my catechism class, niwaambie mimi Mkatoliki, is giving. If I don't give, I feel like nina deni la Mungu. Niko na deni. So that at the end of the day, the student will give from the heart. I remember after talking to the students, we carried away the container and students were following me. Those who had not given in anything. Walikuwa wananifuata wakiweka pesa hapo. I'm sure in the next session watatoa mingi kushinda ile walitoa. Na sasa wakitoa hivyo, chaplain ataenda nyumbani na mguu. I want to believe whoever asked that question alikuwa anatuchangamsha tu, but seriously a principal chaplain anakuja kwa shule anaenda bila. Si tunajilaani. The hand that gives is the same hand that will receive. Let's learn to give. Let's talk to our students that they understand what it means to give. Thank you. Welcome.
Asante. I want to respond to two issues on behalf of the Archbishop's office. One is concerning branding. Hiyo mambo ya kuandika jina la shule na kanisa imeelezwa karibu for the last 3 years. And even formal communication has been done severally. And now I want to request all of us here between now and end of this month that bring us any school we sponsor which does not have the school of Church of God. We know what we shall do. Between now and end of June, overseers, bring us any school that doesn't have our name. We know what we shall advise. Number two, I also want to respond to the appreciation to our chaplain. I want to believe Dr. George Magomere, between now and the end of June, your department and the chaplain's department, we shall sit and do a formal write-up of how our chaplains have to be appreciated. And on that point, chaplains deliver very well from today. Because schools will not just appreciate any short work. And I mean to say, make sure you work very well, deliver very well, give proper spiritual nourishment, and principals and head teachers create conducive environments, create even offices for our chaplains. There are some who may not be very much relevant, as Professor said. We are also in the process of retooling our chaplains so that they are relevant. But between now and end of June, we shall have done a formal write-up on how our chaplains will be remunerated or appreciated. Asante sana.
Thank you. Can we give a clap? Asanteni sana. Some of our chaplains are still working. So even if we gave offices, they may not really make use of those offices because most of the times they're also at their workstation. They come, deliver, then go for other engagements. But they are welcome. We shall offer those offices if the time will allow for them to make use of the offices. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba School, for participating. Asante Baba Skofu tena, nataka kujibu hivi. One, what makes obvious, my brother, my sister, is for you to be relevant. Just work hard to be relevant. work hard to be relevant. Now, the content, CBE content. Principals here will be able to attest to the fact that, grade 10s wameingia kwa ile shule wakiwa na confidence yenye na shida for 3. Am I right? Hao watoto wamekuja kama wenye atoka sijui Chandoni ama wanatoka wapi. Wamekuja na nguvu kabisa. They have been given something. And which means something is happening. Even if that content sounds like, you got you. It is a question of who is interpreting that content. And workshops have been, organized for retooling. Usipojua na usipouliza hautajua. And a good teacher, a good principal, a good manager is one who is willing to learn. You learn to learn. So let us work with the syllabus as it's been given to us. I do some work with the KICD, content programs, communication, and the like. I work with them. And it is always possible. You have been invited, some members of your schools have been invited, members of, your regions have been invited, members of neighboring schools have been invited to participate in the creation of that content. And I always ask this question, Babasco. When times change and the world order changes and the people around you change, what do you do? That is it. We have no choice. So we are with the dam. We have just to change. Now, we show mengine the others were comments. Were just comments. And the issue of punishments. I wish you knew. Niliwaambia nilikuwa na mwalimu ambaye alikuwa so friendly, lakini angenichuna, angenichapa kidogo, and that was in the 60s. I have not complained. The children today, I have talked openly in various places, including meetings in the Commonwealth. In Kenya, we have got what we call experimental education. Hatujasimama sawasawa kusema kwamba this our system of education yenye inaweza kumaliza 100 years. Hakuna. I participated in promoting 844. I traveled around the country. And here I am now. Again, I'm participating in CBC. Now, what we are saying is that when times change, management changes, content changes, the results also change. And so, just be sharp, be a sharpshooter, be available, be present, and focus on the type of results we want for your school. Finally, whenever I'm invited to grace your parents on the occasions, these are AGMs and the like, I tell parents, do not allow teachers to bring up your child. Please bring up your own child, like where we are. Where these people, fellows are proud of themselves. It's in Mukhana Mudish. Mukhana Mushimuri. Mukhana Mushimuri. Muyai Mudish. You see, those people are proud of something. They grow up with those values. So let's teach our students, our children, to embrace our values, to be like our families, to be like our communities, and take them to school just for the icing. Every cake is iko na nini? Icing on top. Schools and colleges just do the icing. Lakini wewe mzazi, if you are not present for your child, who will be present for your child? The media today, watu wako kwa chat, vitu gani, pornography na kadhalika. Watoto wamejua mengi kuliko miaka yao. They are so much ahead of us. And therefore, we have just to run with these children and to help them to know that they are still our children. Therefore, bring up your child, Don't blame anybody. If we should have anybody to be arrested, Baba Skofu, let's have all the parents arrested first. Kenyan parents should be arrested. Wapelekwe kwa seli wachapwe. And then from there waambiwe then mchape watoto wenu. But the way you kill your child, must you go public? If you want to punish anybody, even in the school, you know schools do a lot of these things. Principals are here. But that's part of mentoring. Sindio? Part of mentoring. Unafinyako wapi, unafinya wapi, ili umlainishe mtoto. The trouble with the other society out there, the so-called modern society, yenye sisi huwa tunafuata saa zingine. Wenyanga kubenga basungu, Do you know those fellows who come Baba Scope ametembea huko nje? Do you know those families are broken. Those families are not there. They are dead. We are better off. We are still very strong with our cultures. We are still very strong to